Hi, Math 3 students. Today we're going to go over kind of a, I don't know, I guess a hodgepodge. First couple of questions, we're just really solving for a variable. And then towards the end, we're going to do some work with function notation. All right. So it says solve for y, express your answer in proper or improper fractions in simplest terms. So I feel like a lot of the times, you guys don't like fractions, so I wanted to make sure we did some practice with fractions. Now, there's a couple of different ways you could go about this. We're going to go ahead and I'm just going to rock through it in a way that you could either use your calculator for or do it in your head or anything like that. All right, so let's go ahead. They want us to solve for y here. So the first thing we're going to have to do is add 1/4 to both sides. Now, when you add fractions, you have to have a common denominator. And here we do already, right? 1/4 plus 1/4. We can add those, which is going to give us 2/4, right? Which ends up being 1/2. So we have negative 5/6 y equals 1/2. Then, to get y by itself, I know a lot of you guys are going to want to divide by negative 5/6, and you can do that as long as you know how to do that. What I would recommend here is multiplying by the reciprocal. So if we multiply by the reciprocal, right, I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 6/5. All right. And these guys cancel, and I get that y is equal to negative 6. And when you multiply, you actually do multiply top and bottom together. So we get negative 6 over and then 10. All right. Then we can simplify this, which is going to be negative 3/5. All right. Next one here. So we can go ahead and this one isn't too bad. We're just going to subtract 15 from both sides. And we end up with 44. So we get 4/5. C equals 44. Now, again, we're going to go ahead and multiply by the reciprocal. Now, I do think it's important that you guys understand how to do this in your head, okay? Now, if you were to actually just, like, multiply 44 times 5 and then 4 times 1, the number, or the problem becomes a little bit more tricky. One thing, what I would recommend doing here is simplifying before you multiply. And what you can actually do is, since we have, essentially what it is 44 times 5 all over 4, okay? And instead of doing 44 times 5, which is kind of tricky, I would simplify the 44 and the 4. 44 divided by 4 is 11, right? So this ends up becoming 11. This ends up becoming 1. So we end up with 11 times 5 on top divided by 1, which is going to be 55 over 1, which is just 55. So we get that C is equal to 55. If this confused you, another way you can think of it is like if we broke down, let's do it this way. Instead of doing 44 times 5, we could break 44 down into 4 times 11 times 5 all over 4. Cancel, cancel. That gives us 55. So that's how that's working out. All right. Alrighty. Next one here. All right. So let's go ahead and we're going to subtract 1/8. All right. We're going to do negative 3/5 y is equal to, and then negative 3/8 minus 1/8 is going to be negative 4/8, which again we can simplify here to negative 1/2. All right. So then again I would multiply by the reciprocal, negative 5/3. And when you do a negative times a negative, we're going to get a positive. So we know our fraction here is going to be positive. We get a 5 on top and a 6 on the bottom. We cannot simplify that, so we get 5/6. All right. Next one here. So let's see. This has kind of a lot of function notation going on here. I feel like a lot of the times you guys see function notation, you get a little bit scared. It's really not bad. What function notation is doing is this is your input. Okay, so like here, you can see for all these answers, our input's going to be 16. Okay, so essentially what we're going to have to go do is plug 16 into each of these functions. Okay, now when you have like the entire thing here, like f of 16 is essentially, your output. Okay, so like this entire thing is your output. So what you're doing is you're going to go plug 16 in, get your output, and then you're going to compare your outputs. Okay, so this first one here, and this definitely is a calculator one. For the first one here, we've got 5 times 16 to the power of 4, because I just went and plugged it in here. And I got 327,680. All right. And then my next one here, I got 5 times 2 to the power of 16, which gave me 300,027,680. So these guys are actually equal, right? So f of 16 is going to equal g of 16. So that's our answer here. All right. So now next one, we're going to go ahead. They want us, if you look at these ones, you literally have to look at the answers to see what you're plugging in. Here they want us to plug a 2 in, right? So we're going to do 5 times 2 cubed, and I get 40. And then for this bottom one, I'm going to get 12 times 4 to the power of 2, and I got 192. So f of x is equal to 40, and g of x is equal to 192. So g of x is greater than f of x. That would be your answer there. All right. Now, this next one. It says, given that h of x is equal to negative x plus 2, solve for x when h of x is equal to negative 3. So it's important that you guys know when they're giving you your output, when they're giving you your input. If they had said h of negative 3 equals, and you have to find h of negative 3, then I would go and take a negative 3 and plug it in for x. That's not what they asked me. They told me that h of x is equal to negative 3. So what I'm actually going to do is I could go replace my h of x with a negative 3. So I'm going to do negative 3 equals negative x plus 2, minus 2 minus 2, negative 5 equals negative x. Divide by negative 1, and get that x is 5. All right. Next one here. Again, they want us to solve for x. So we're going to take a 3. Set that equal to 2x plus 3. Subtract 3 from both sides. Divide by 2, and we get that x is 0. All right. Next one here. So it says find the value of f of negative 7. So when you see function notation, really think of it as a coordinate pair. Okay? So like what they're saying here is they're saying, okay, well, our x value is negative 7. What is f of negative 7? Okay, so essentially what this is asking is they're saying, what's the y value when our x value is negative 7? So we have to go to negative 7, look at our output, okay? The coordinate here is negative 7, comma, negative 5. Our output is negative 5. That's our answer. All right. All right, it says find the value of f of 2. So again, we're going to go ahead. We know that our x value is going to be 2. We need to find our y value. So if we go to 2, my output is negative 7. Negative 7 is my answer. All right, here. It says find all the values of x where f of x is equal to 1. All right. Now, if you recall, in order for something to be a function, the x values can never have different y values, or inputs can never have different outputs, but you can have the same output multiple times. So that's kind of important to keep in mind here. So here, they gave us our y value of 1, and they want us to find the x value or x values. So when they give you the y value, what you really want to do is you want to go to your y value of 1, okay? Sometimes there's going to be multiple answers to a question like this. So if we go, that is in fact what we have here. We've got 3, 1 and 5, 1. All right. So our our x values for when y is equal to 1 are going to be 3 and 5. All right, why does this keep doing this? I don't know. All right, we are almost there, my friends. Next one, they want our x value when y is -8. So again, we got to go to -8. Well, we've got 0, -8. I don't know why it's doing that. What if I click done? Oh, maybe that was that. And then we've got 6. Yep, 6, -8. So our x values when y is equal to -8 is going to be 0 and 6.